Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Let me show you how this little Atrium catch basin can stop the water from flooding in your yard. First, let's take a look at how that catch basin actually works. This is our favorite 6x6 round catch basin, single outlet. See that? And the way this works, we have a grate on the top, and as water comes across the yard, it drops into the basin and is carried away. This is much different than the French drain. This collects immediate surface water. In other words, when it rains really hard and it begins to flood across the yard, it'll drop into your basin and be carried away. But sometimes the debris in your yard, like grass clippings or leaves, pine straw, whatever's building up in your yard will clog the top of this, and then it doesn't work, right? A French drain collects subsurface water, water underground. This collects the water on top of the ground, and it is by far much better than a French drain. It collects more water faster and will remove that flood instantly. Atrium grates come in all sizes. You can see here is a 4-inch one. This one's a 6-inch one. And whether you have a big 6x6 drain or you have a little 4-inch drain, the same thing works. Debris builds up along the side, but there's still a place for water to drop into the top. Let's take a look at a grate that is totally covered with debris and has stopped working. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about when we add the Atrium grate. So here is a covered up grate. Can you see it? I mean, you can't even see it. There's so much debris on here, but it's right here. Take a look. You see that? That's all from when it rained. And what happens is all of this debris, it just floats across the ground because this is pulling water down into it. So it just backs up. It won't allow it to drain. Pretty simple fix. Pull the grate off. You can see it's pretty clean down there. Add the Atrium grate. Now this debris can build up all around the sides of it. But as that water level rises, it can still drop into the grate and be carried away. Okay, grates come in all kinds of sizes and shapes. This one's steel grate. This one's a solid grate, and it goes on a big 12x12 catch basin. So you would use this like in your pavers or your driveway because it can handle the weight of a truck or a car. This is a little 3-inch drain. You would use this on your pool deck, for example, or maybe in a sidewalk. This allows water to run across the concrete, drop directly down into the drain, and be carried away. There's all kinds of grates. 9x9 grate fits into that 9-inch catch basin. This is a 12-inch grate, round 12-inch grate. And what we do with this is a great idea and something that you can easily do yourself. We use a piece of 12-inch culvert pipe, cut it to any depth that you want. We leave the bottom open, and we put gravel down into the bottom of that hole. When you use this type of a catch basin, it's better to have a bigger outlet. So you can drill to any level that you want, but I would run 6-inch out of here because we want to move that water as fast as possible. Remember, these little 4-inch drains, remember these little outlets for the 4-inch, they move water quickly. But this, wow, it moves water so fast, especially with a big 6-inch discharge. So here's an example with that steel grate on a 12x12, and we want to move that water out of this area as fast as possible. So we've added a 6-inch drain. Can you see that? This really moves the water quickly. Another great tip is, I don't know if you've seen the video where I make these Sod Stoppers. This is a bucket lid, costs you $1. And then you go ahead and set your grate on the top, trace around it, cut it out, and you've got this 6-inch hole. Simply snap it in place. And now we have an Atrium grate with the Sod Stopper. This stops the sod from growing across the top of this. It works so good, and I mean, it costs $1 to make. Finally, this is a big 18x18 square grate. This actually comes from a catch basin kit, and this works great. But again, you have to have a large discharge for these big basins to work properly. The other thing I see people doing is they put this down on top of the gravel of their French drain, thinking this is going to collect surface water. It does not work. The blind inlet, it's not what you want to do. It has many problems, and I've got a video to show you what happens with this grate. So remember, these little atrium grates are so valuable, especially if you've got an area that has a lot of debris when it rains. So let's look at a clip of a small install where we replace the flat grate with an atrium grate. Take a look. So here's another example. Can you even see the grate? Can you find it? It's right here, and look how covered up it is. Another 6x6 that is totally backed up, not only from the debris, but the grass is growing across there. So let's go ahead and do two things. One, let's cut the sod off around the sides. Pretty simple to do. Take your shovel, move the sod, cut it off, put your sod stopper on there, and then add your atrium grate. Look at that. Not only have we stopped the sod from coming across, but as the debris builds up around the sides, you can see it. Water can still flood into the top and be carried away. By replacing that flat grate with the atrium grate, we now allow the water to drop directly into our system. Before, it would just cover that flat grate with debris. So when I first arrived here at the job site, you can see the catch basin was completely clogged with debris. This is pretty normal after a huge rainfall, and you can see the storm knocked down a lot of trees. But after it stops raining, usually the catch basin gets clogged. All you need to do is lift this off and it'll begin to drain. And what's really neat to look at is there's not any debris down in the drain. That grate stops all of the debris from getting down into your pipe, which is another misconception about adding a catch basin to your French drain. It is needed in order to solve your flood. So this is a really simple fix. This is called an atrium grate. And the atrium is just like it sounds. The atrium is just like that name. It allows debris to build up higher along the side of the grate, preventing it from getting covered with debris. So remember, these little atrium grates are so valuable, especially if you've got an area that has a lot of debris when it rains. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.
Hey everybody, Nash and Joe with the Tampa Drain Dudes.
We are incredibly excited to announce that we are now partnered with Apple Drains. And what that means is that we are going to be taking over all their clientele in this Tampa Bay area, which also includes...
We're going to go as far north as Brooksville, we're going to go as far east as Lakeland, and south as South Tampa, St. Petersburg area. If the job is the right size and we really need to help our clients out, we'll go a little bit more north, a little bit more east, and a little bit more south, just depending on what you guys' needs are. Joe, you got anything to add?
We're going to cover all exterior drainage that you may need: French drains, sump pumps, channel drains, gutter downspout redirection, all that good stuff. So check us out, tampadraindudes.com. We are incredibly happy and thankful for this experience to partner with Chuck from Apple Drains.